morphing from a sperm to an egg to a tadpole to an egg of being inside the dinosaur era, back to a sperm, back to an egg. And there's this push-pull that's happening. I can see the bright light in between, and it's almost as if I'm in between two worlds. I'm in between two worlds right now.
Mm.
And I could feel it even as you were guiding me. I could feel my auric field, like there was this bright light inside, and I felt like the atmosphere was around me, and there was this bright light, but then there was this gray, which is a vacuum in the universe, and then there was this bright light on the other side, and this bright, bright, bright blue, almost the same as my top.
Mm.
But I'm being shown two Merkabahs, and this spinning, the energy's chaotic, it's frenetic, it's turbulent. And the points of the Merkabah, so if this is the Merkabah and this is the top point, the points are pointing at each other.
Yes.
But what they're showing me, we're in between two worlds. And even prior to our connection today, I was shown that this is humanity. Humanity are in between two worlds at the moment. And the gray that we are all sensing and feeling and deep diving into and being triggered with is the matter and the antimatter. The antimatter is wanting to permeate into this new change. So hence, again, we've been shown that weather patterns are shifting. People just don't know where they're at. The world is in chaos. And they're taking me back to these two Merkabahs, and the sperm and the egg and the egg and the sperm and the sperm and the egg and the egg and the sperm. And there's this massive pull, this massive shift in evolution between the masculine and the feminine energy. And it's like a swing, Jill. It's swinging, and the masculine's pulling and pulling and raging and pulling, and the feminine's pulling back, but it's a different pull. It's a different vibration. The feminine are grieving. Many women are grieving at this moment in time.
What are they grieving about?
The changes that are being seen. And they're taking me back to 1800 BC. This grief is a massive shift that dates back to before Christ. The 1800s, there was a massive transition. There was massive change. And this is what it feels like coming into this change now.
Mm.
This is the change before Aquarius, before the shifting that is happening. And they take me back to the 1800s again. There was massive devastation in the 1800s, massive change. And there is a meteor shower that happened, but the meteors came down to land, came down to earth. And then there was this darkness. This is what the change is bringing. There's massive dark changes. Yet it's part of the cycle of the evolution. The change is happening. and they're showing me shoots. You know, when a seed has been planted, Jill, and then it comes up and the green shoots up and there's a little stem
Yeah.
and it's quite fragile.
Okay, soft and green.
Yes, but the stem is white at first, and the roots, it's almost as if you have to pull out the stem. It's easy to pull it out, yet as the stem grows and becomes thicker and thicker and the roots become more ingrained, they're showing me that the symbolism of this is that we are all these new shoots. We are all the new implants. We are all the new changes of what's happening. And they're showing me 144,000.
What do they mean by that?
There's word that's going around that there's 144,000 that have been chosen. And it's become a belief, and many are owning it, many are claiming it. That's me, that's me, that's me. Yet the 144,000 is about, and they're saying I've got to say it as it's been shown to me. The 144,000 is a disbelief that's been created by many different channels and many different channelers who have seeds that are being implanted inside of them by different extraterrestrial beings. There are 144,000 that have been chosen.
What? Chosen for what?
So much confusion, so much confusion. It's chaotic and it's dark and they've been chosen to be the light bearers, the light keepers. Yet there are some that are so deeply ingrained in their darkness and they don't even know it. So this whole atmospheric change that we are going through, this whole energetic shift, this whole evolution is where everything is going, and they're saying, I've got to say it, it's going tits up. It's like everything is just, we're all going through this purging. So the 144,000 beings of light are the ones that are iconic. Yet some of them are not iconic, and there's going to be shapeshifters. There's going to be many shapeshifters where they will morph, they will morph, they will morph, they will morph. And in this morphing, many of them are going to be exposed. Some of them are of the darkness. They're not of the light. And they're saying that I have to share this.
But then how are they chosen as one of the 144,000 then, if they are of the dark? How does that work?
Because the dark are clever. Criminals are clever, are they not, Jill?
Yes, but if they're chosen to be a light person, are they light or are they dark?
They
or are
both.
they playing the part? Are they playing the part of dark to then help the light? I'm a bit confused.
They want us to know that the antimatter of the dark that has been held within the grids for millennia is where the exposed will be shown. And they're saying that this confusion that they're causing for me, this confusion they're causing for others, this is confusing times. So many of us are feeling these exposed, confusing times. Hence, you got the message today from Dominus to do this transmission, to do this connection between ourselves and Michelle and you. And they're saying that as we had the meeting earlier on, yourself, Mary, and myself, the trilogy is the light, the way that, you see, they're creating confusion. The light, the truth, and the way.
Correct.
And in this light, the truth, and the way, is where the Jesus codes will be shared. So the 144,000 are the ones that have, they have the light inside of them, but yet some of them are exposing themselves to the dark. And they're not even sure about this. So there's massive amounts of transmissions and downloads and energetic shifts and energetic frequencies that it's almost like we're taking our inners out and we're being cut open and we're going here. You know, like when something's been dissected, Jill.
Yes.
Everything's been dissected, everything's been pulled apart, everything as we know it to be the truth is not the light, hence the confusion, hence many of us are feeling discombobulated, many of us are feeling exposed, many of us are feeling in doubt, many of us are feeling, what's the point of life? So many are taking their lives because they cannot handle this change. Many light walkers, many light workers, many are who are of the light, who are not the 144,000. Many of the humans that are sensitive to these times are deciding, and we want everybody to know this, are deciding to not stay. It is not good, it is not bad. It is foreseen in the trajectory of the way, the truth and the light. Are we making sense right now, Jill?
Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
So these tears, we are crying for humanity. There is such an intergalactic war that is happening right now. Hence the chaos that has been felt. Many of the entities, many of the different structures that are out there in the field are refining their own way of being, as many have been holding on and holding on and holding on. Hence humans are feeling the same. You can see with Michelle's body, it keeps moving and it keeps moving, and hence this is the energy that many are feeling. It's frenetic, it's chaotic, but it's interchangeable. We want humans to know that it's changing, it's bringing the change, the tides of change. So many are feeling frustrated, many are feeling discombobulated, many are feeling out of sorts, many are feeling confused, many are feeling that they cannot stay in this time. And this is part of the planned destruction. Yet the destruction is not only about the destruction as we see it as human beings, in the displacement of what is to come. This is the real time. And in the real time of where the presence of the soul is known, of where the Merkabahs are being recharged. And as the Merkabahs are being recharged, the way, the truth, and the light is where everyone will come together in a more peaceful, harmonious place. So it is most certainly a time where the feminine energies, and we're not talking about only women, as many men are feminine too. The sperm has chased the egg for many cycles. And there's millions of sperm in one egg. So what we're saying in this Christ awareness, in this change, you and Michelle were talking about it earlier, Jill. You spoke about the queen, remember? Being the queen. So please remind everybody who's listening what you were saying about the queen.
Oh, I just said that I was told to write a book, and it had to be the title, Are You the Queen of Your Life? Or are you just a princess? And of course, to be the queen that rules with justice and truth and light and shows the way and is kind and compassionate and is a real leader but doesn't stand for nonsense and is respected, and cares for her people but also cares for herself.
And this is where the relearning is happening for so many, as that we're going to go back to the 144,000. This is where many light beings are coming together, Jill, in harmony, in peace. The Syrians, the Octarians, the Palladians. There is even some Draconians who are part of the light, Jill, that are coming together in harmony. There are many others. It is the Star of David. The Star of David shone. Many look up to the Star of David. Many have bowed down to the Star of David, haven't they?
Yes.
Yet in these times of enlightenment, many are leaving their physical bodies within this enlightened phase or phrase. We'll keep to phase. Many are finding that their bodies are becoming skinnier. Many of you are being taught or retaught about food and what food means to the body. Many of you are being taught about water and what water means to the body. Yet many of you continue in your vicious cycles. And when one is in a vicious cycle, one is not in their true self of harmony. One is not in their true self of speaking up. You and Michelle had a conversation prior to us coming through. And as you know, Michelle was triggered. And as you and Michelle, you give and you give and you give and you give and you give of your time freely. You give of your knowledge, you give of your wisdom. Do you not, Jill?
Yes, so can you speak about that a little bit and tell us, why is it that so many humans think that if you're a medium or you're a clairvoyant or you do spiritual work, even as a healer, that somehow it should be given away without any charge whatsoever?
We laugh as we find this an incredible moment in time where this is a separation that has been created with thought forms and belief systems with many human beings. There is a non-existent moment in time, in humanness, and please notice how we are saying this. There's a non-existent moment in time where you are correct. Many that are doctors, lawyers, accountants, specialists in their field, many that have studied their way through life, many that have been indoctrinated, many of that have been gifted and or knighted, are different socialized, different social platforms. Yet when it comes to being spiritual, you are correct in saying that many believe that, well, why not? We are all spiritual, so why not? Why not give us this information for free? You and Michelle, as we are coming through, Michelle, and as you are asking the questions, you give of your time freely, do you not?
Correct.
Many have asked you to continue these connections, and we are grateful for this, and we know that you and Michelle harmonize together. as do you and Alba, as do many come together in these moments, and you would call it collaborations. Yet in the spiritualness of being spiritual, what many do not know is that you have both equally have spent thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars on your own learnings, have you not?
Yes.
You are both specialists in your field. This is the way we would see it. This is the way we would notice it. This is the way we would send it through in terms of how we are coming through this voice box right now and how we are using Michelle's hands, is that you are specialists within your mediumship. You are specialists within your hypnotherapy. You are specialists within your healing abilities. Yet everyone is a specialist in their own field. Some study differently to others. Yet there is a noticing in these times, in these moments, that being spiritual does not mean one singular thing. That is like us saying, well, who are we? We morph. We morph into different energies. We can change in the blink of an eye. We can change Michelle's voice box if we choose to. We can change Michelle's voice box if we choose to. Do you see how simple it is? We morph. Energy is shifting. Energy is changing. It is quicker than the blink of an eye. So yes, to answer your question, it is simple to say, well, why not? Why are you not deserving to be paid for this time? Yet humans are takers, are they not, Jill? Humans make life about themselves. Humans only seem to think at times that they're the only species that exist.
They're in for a bit of a surprise then, aren't they?
Most certainly are. Yet as you are learning, as Michelle is learning to speak up, to find your voice box and her voice box, these are where these rapid changes are happening. As the cycles, you used a very, very important tool, Jill, when Michelle was not allowing herself, as it was about allowing herself, as her head was being triggered and her body was being triggered and she couldn't stop the story of what you were talking about previously, as she did not allow herself to be appreciated by these other fellow friends that she calls friends. She did not allow herself to have an exchange of energy. She was an afterthought. And when one is an afterthought, one feels worthless, do they not?
So isn't it really a case of educating people? So for example, Michelle, who does all this medium work, and yes, there are definitely times when she does it for free in an emergency situation, and that's out of the goodness of her heart. How do we educate people to then turn around and say, thank you so much. Is there anything we can do for you in exchange?
We want to give the analogy of, do you ever go to a lawyer? And this is actually not even an analogy, this is a true story, as many of you have used lawyers before, have you not? You have turned to lawyers to fight the fight, have you not?
Mm-hmm.
You have turned to lawyers, and in that very moment of turning to a lawyer and facing a lawyer, or making a phone call or emailing a lawyer, you already know there's going to be a charge, do you not?
Yes.
And lawyers are very okay to charge for their time, as most of them have studied between 5 to 10 to 12 years. They continually study, as do you, as do mediums. There is a continued evolving of the energetic shifts that are taking place right now in this moment. Yet there is a very lower vibrational belief that one is not meant to charge for their time if they are spiritual. And what we are saying is, it is time to stop it. Wipe your hands clean, wipe the slate clean. Charge your worth. Charge for your time. Why not? Why wouldn't you? And it's not only about the courses that you have been on, you have given of your time, time and time and time again. You are correct. You give of your time, Michelle gives of her time. Michelle overextends her time in sessions. As there's sometimes a pivotal point in a moment where we would share, or there is a moment of where she could see or sense or feel that there's going to be a change in that moment where the human allows themselves. So when one allows themselves to be seen, when one allows themselves to be heard, when one allows themselves to voice how they are truly feeling about not being appreciated, the energy shifts. When one allows themselves to be charging their worth, there is no non-communication that happens in that moment. There is only the way, the truth, and the light. And then there is no miscommunications. There is no, we were going to say, there is no communication. This is what the learning is. In the education, it is about how you communicate, is it not?
Always.
How you communicate, always. Yet many come from their own perception that when they are feeling whatever they are feeling, angry, sad, happy, joyful, delightful, enlightened, spiritual, they are all one of the same thing, Jill. Yet humans will sit in it and they will feel entitled. When a human is feeling entitled, they do not feel as if they need to give back in that moment, even though they have been asked to please give back, to please be of service, to please do something that is noticeable. Yet when one is feeling entitled, one holds the title, one holds the crown, do they not? Like a queen, like a king. So what are we saying? We are saying communication is key. How are you writing? How are you communicating up front? You have spoken to Michelle about this many times, haven't you? You have said and suggested to Michelle, as the friend that you are to her, Mich, I think it's time. And then the communication happens. So when it is time, the learning happens. It is now your time to own yourselves. You know it, Jill. You are writing about this. You are putting a course together about this. When one is just owning themselves, what does that even mean? Education starts with the first word that comes out of the mouth. Are you aware of this?
Well, I would expect so. Usually the first word is no, after mummy and daddy or mama and papa.
Correct, but yet like a young child, how many times does it take to say no to a young child that wants a sweet or wants a chocolate or wants something in that moment? They may even have a tantrum before you say, okay, yes. No, 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 no. Okay, yes. So where are we going with this? We are saying, allow yourselves to be seen, allow yourselves to charge your worth. And when humans charge their worth, when humans speak up and say, this is what I am charging for my time. Many of you are fighting for time. Many of you will be like robots and you will walk into your corporate companies, your companies that employ you. You will go and do your job. You will walk away, you will clock out. You will walk back in and clock in the next day, and you are paying, and you are paying, and you are paying, and yet you are feeling the pain inside of you. Yet you are being paid for being in that pain, are you not? So in that triggered moment where Michelle was feeling uneasy and she had said to you that she cannot settle, and then you gave her a great, great, great tool, which is part of your writings, Jill. It is to create that tool. Take off the coat, take off what you are feeling, go to the washing machine, put it in the washing machine, close the washing machine, put the powder in or the liquid in, and let that cycle happen. You push the button and there is a cycle, is there not? Sometimes the spin is a very treacherous spin, and this is the cycle where we are going with this chaotic energy that is being felt by many of you. Many of you are feeling down, many of you are feeling out of sorts, many of you are feeling out of context, many of you saying things out of context, many of you are feeling exhausted, many of you cannot sentence two words together. But then the cycle stops and you open up the washing machine. And then the clothes smell clean, as you know they've been washed. So you're all going through a cycle. Education is key. Being upfront, being honest, being open. When one is being of service, one is being of service to themselves. One holds the key to light, their key of light, do they not? Their ankh. When the key is put into the slot of the door and the key opens up the door, the way, the truth, and the light. And do you see how there is a gap? There is an opening, there is an energetic vortex, for want of a better word or statement. What is going to be filled in this gap, Jill?
Oh, so many different things could go in there.
Correct.
So, as we charge for our time, as everybody charges for their time in all the different jobs that they do, because we've got to pay for the food, for transport, for warmth, for shelter, all those things. And what about you guys? I mean, ideally, we would love to be able to do everything for free. If all our needs were met, we wouldn't need to charge. So, you who are communicating with us today through Michelle, what kind of system do you chaps have? Do you have a payment or an exchange of energy? How does it work?
You have such remarkable questions. You are a remarkable human being. And not remarkable, you are a remarkable human being. And what do we mean by this? We mean that you hold your mark. You hold your worth, you hold your value. You are the light to many, Jill, as is Michelle. You are a beacon of light. So as you have asked the question, we will answer the question through pure light and pure honesty. We don't hold value the way humans hold value. We ask for nothing from one another. We talk telepathically. We share energetically. We communicate with waves of light. Even now, as Michelle is flickering her fingers, there are waves of light. We ask nothing of one another. We know what needs to be done. And even though there are wars that are happening right now, there are light frequencies that are going backwards and forwards, backwards and forwards, backwards and forwards. There are light codes that are going backwards and forwards. And the energy, we would like everybody to know, is creating defragmentations of life forces. So as we are creating within these energetic wars, within these spiritual displacements, at times we are not communicating in harmony. We communicate with different clicks, with different vibrations, with different light codes. We communicate as we have heads, yet we communicate from here, we communicate from here. We communicate like the whales flap their tails. We communicate like the dolphins. Are you able to hear that, Jill?
Yes, I did gave me the shivers.
Are you feeling the vibration? Hence, the Bushmen have been communicating through echolocation forever. Hence, the Africans are of God. The Africans are connected to the roots. African people, many of the Pacific Islanders, many of the African people have flat feet. Have you noticed, Jill?
Yes.
Many of the different colored humans are able to squat very easily. They are very connected into the earth's energy. They are very rooted down. So we communicate in different ways, in different light frequencies. Humans we know exist. Humans we know want. Humans we know need. Humans we know have created many different global wars. Many humans that have come out of the caves have decided to evolve. Yet humans can be as simple as apes at times, where they communicate, yet they cannot get the language. You guys have been gifted language, have you not?
We have.
And as you have been gifted, please notice how we say this, you have been gifted language. You have been gifted many, 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 many other humanly desires. And in the desires, there is greed. In the desires, there is holding on to. In the desires, there is expectations. And when one is expecting, one is in judgment. When one is asking, one is in the pureness of who they are. It is a very different language. It is a very different noticing. So even when Michelle asked her friends to please be in exchange of energy, if they didn't mind, please giving back in their time of grieving, there was a noticing from them. They could not believe that this was being asked of them. And we are using this as an example, as this is the example that many humans have of one another. Michelle had graciously given of her time, and you know how much time was given. And she had graciously given and given and given and given. And then when she had asked in exchange of the energy, graciously there was an asking. The other humans could not believe, like, how dare she even ask at this moment when they are grieving? It is a very different change that happens in the vibration, Jill, where the frequency drops.
But she wasn't even asking for money. All she was saying is, if this service of mine was helpful to you, which she had given freely, could you just write a testimonial?
Yes, and we know this. Yet the other humans are in their space of their knowing, of their understanding.
So expectations again. We have
Correct.
an expectation that somebody would be the same as she was in that moment, and yet they're different.
Correct. Yet when the vibration drops, as even in the moment of Michelle asking, there was a vibrational moment where the frequency had dropped, as Michelle does not like to ask. As you know, the same for you, the same for many other humans who are listening to this right now.
So we've got to be better at asking.
Absolutely.
Okay, we've definitely. And the other question I wanted to ask you guys, thank you for that, is do you choose who to work with? Why this particular group working with Michelle? Why not another group as an example? How does that work?
Can you be more specific when you are asking which groups specifically are you talking about?
Well, I don't know whether we are actually communicating now with the Council of Eight, or we actually communicating with a different collection of beings.
You are communicating with a different collection of beings. You are communicating with the Galactic Federation of Light.
Okay, so as we are now, excuse me, chatting with the Galactic Federation of Light, why work through Michelle as such? What is it that makes that connection? Why do some people not get to connect with the Galactic Federation, and yet Michelle and I do? I suppose that's really what I'm trying to say. You see, it's communication again.
We understand, Jill, and we know where you're coming from. And it's not about not. It's about is. When humans start to believe, as humans have millions of different belief systems running, do they not?
Always.
And it is true, millions of different belief systems. Many different myths are being debusted right now. Many different beliefs, many different thought forms that have been created and created and created. It's as simple as asking us, Jill, how come you have different hair to Michelle? Every follicle has a knowing. Every follicle knows where to grow from. Every follicle is connected to a system, is it not?
That's right. Yep.
So where we're going with this? Every system that exists out in the spiritual field, hence many more channelers. And Michelle was shown the other day, or spoken to the other day, where a very delightful human being was saying he does not like the word channel, and Michelle did not take it on. Normally, Michelle would have gone into self-doubt and taken it on. Well, this is a download. This is a channel. This is a moment in time where we are coming through this voice box, which is a channel, is it not? It is searching. It is searching like an antenna. An antenna searches, yet an antenna has researchers, does it not?
So maybe it's like a radio station
Correct.
into the
And
channel,
it is,
and they call it
yes,
channel.
well, yes, well, how is a computer put together? It has different channels, it has different frequencies, it has different solderings of iron, does it not?
I don't know enough about it to comment.
It is as simple as, and we say as simple as the Starlink system. It is not one system, it is a whole bunch of systems linked together. A satellite, a rocket. A rocket is soldered together, everything is put together. So your antenna, Michelle's antenna, has been open, searching, 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 and then it finds a frequency. It finds a frequency that it tunes in with. And when the frequency is being tuned in, finely tuned in, have you noticed how your ears have a different ring to it?
So our frequency has to match the frequency that we are tuning into.
Correct.
And then there's a connection.
And there is a timing that happens in that moment. And it is a different molecule of light that connects to a different molecule of light. Please know when we say there are hundreds of thousands of millions of beings of light, not one. Not one only. Hence, there are questions, and you have seen this on your media channels that you all use, where many would say to you, through communication, through connecting, through emailing, through commenting, Well, I thought there was only the Council of Nine. Well, I thought there was only the Galactic Federation of Worlds. Well, I thought there was only this. Well, I thought there was only that. Well, every thought has a spark. Every thought is ignited into the field. Do you know how many galaxies exist, Jill?
Oh, millions.
Correct. So if there are millions of galaxies and there are millions or billions of humans, how many humans are connecting into the field?
Ah, just there must be little sparks all over the show.
144,000, Jill.
Very good, very good. And so
For now, Jill. Only for now.
Okay, so how many do you connect with? Do you connect with everybody at the same time, or is it like playing a piano? You just playing a different, hitting a different note, and then on to the next one? Is it sort of like trying to balance or conduct an orchestra? How do you guys manage that?
We do not manage anybody. We do not manage anything. We are pure source. We are pure light. We are pure frequency. So when the conduit is ready, the fine tuning happens, and then the signal is received. So as you came into your own at your time, your signal was received. We hang out waiting and 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 waiting. And when the human is ready to receive the signal, some are born into the signal already. Hence humans will hear, you will hear many mediums say to themselves and to many others, we knew we had this gift from young. Every one of you is gifted. Every one of you has the gift of light. Yet some of you shut it down. Michelle was one of them. It was shut down, yet her gift was seen. So we brought her husband, who is the vibration of and the name of Brent, into a space when she lived in Johannesburg. They were infrequent in their frequency due to their childhood traumas or their childhood ways of being or their childhood deconstructs. Yet the Brent saw the Michelle long before the Michelle saw the Michelle. She did not understand what he meant when he said, you have a gift, many gifts. And this was, in human terms, 15 years ago. So in him seeing her gift, he was shying away from his gift or gifts. Yet now she is able to be stable in the receiving of the connection, not only to ourselves, but many other beings of light, many other entities that she sees over time, that she is reconnecting with, like yourself and many others. Now she is able to retransmit the gift to her husband. Yet they had displacements, they had trauma, they had chaos, they had immigration, they had not been able to see each other's lights as their darkness was too big, too severe. So at the time of the reconnection, the codes were already being sent, the streams were already being sent to each other. And then they reconnected in this lifetime. And there's a push-pull, a push-pull, a push-pull, a push-pull that happens as humans push and pull, do they not? This is not good enough. No, this is not good enough. No, that's not good enough. No, that's not good enough. I do not believe. I do not believe. And there is a song called, you gotta have faith, the faith, the faith. You gotta have faith, the faith, the faith. And if you all, hence churches do so well, as they create a faith, do they not? They create a belief system, do they not?
Yeah, humans have a need for that.
Correct. So we are not for one second.
Sorry, they It's like sometimes they need something from the exterior when I've learned that it's all inside anyway. You're looking for everything on the outside, but it's already there.
Well, there is an arrogance that can go with that at times. When humans are in the ego, they are in the arrogance. When humans are in the arrogance, they are not in their not knowing. They know they're knowing, yet the knowing, yes, is very deep within. Many question, how is it that I am not chosen? And it's not about not being chosen. We do not sit here and go, yes, 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 no, 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 no. That one did bad. Many who are incarcerated, Jill, are incredibly connected to source energy. Are you aware of this?
Well, I always thought everybody was all the time. It's just they disconnect themselves.
Well, they do not know how to reconnect themselves. Yet those who are in jails, those who are incarcerated, those who are in isolation are the ones in the darkness that are the ones that are deeply connected as they are choosing to go deep within themselves, their patterns, their beliefs, their behaviors, the way they have perhaps killed, annihilated, hurt others, are the ones that are taken back within inside of themselves. Yet humans place judgment on these human beings as they have had so much pain. Yet these very individuals are the ones that we would love this message to go out to, because we say, we see you. We see you in the darkness. We see you when you are within the jail. We see you where you are locked up inside of your own thought forms, inside of your own belief systems. We see your light in the aloneness, in the loneliness which millions of humans are feeling right now. Hence, many of the human beings want to return to the light.
What can we tell them? What would you like to share with those today who are?
Stay and be seen. Stay and be seen. Stay and be seen. Stay and speak up. Stay and feel. Stay and be vulnerable. Stay and know that times ahead for you humans are lighter. There will absolutely be moments in time where there will be times of shifting, times of evolution, times of change. As you are aware, you were you were tricked last weekend, were you not, Jill?
Go on then, tell us about it.
You knew this was coming, Jill. You and Michelle have been bewildered.
I still
You and
don't know what
Michelle.
happened.
Well, there was a space, a moment, where there was an opening, where there was an entity that took over. There was an entity that decided that it didn't like your and Michelle's light. It stepped in, it hovered, it played tricks with your mind, it played tricks with your wallet, it played tricks with your car. These entities are powerful. Please know this. Yet the spider was sent to show you both to have faith in yourselves. You both, if your husbands were there, would not have ever picked up that spider, would you?
Teamwork.
Correct. You came together in a moment. The spider was put there. A spider has many different eyes. It has many different legs, does it not?
Yes, and it was a big spider.
In Michelle's words, it was a massive spider. She would never, ever, ever, as you heard her screech, ever in a million years have thought that she would be able to pick it up in the bowl as gently as she did and speak to it and set it free. But spiders freak humans out, yet spiders are there to show you that life is infinity. It has 8 legs.
Mm.
It was very much on her side of the bed, was it not?
It definitely was. I was very grateful.
Yet in your shrieks of laughter of after you fell or you were pushed, Jill.
So was I pushed through the glass table?
The entity pushed you, correct.
Michelle said it looked as if I was just walking with a cup of tea and the next minute I went flying. She said it looked like somebody had pushed you.
She was certain in this, and she was certain in this. It had pushed you.
But has it now disappeared? There's gone that entity, because I then did a cleansing, and I always forget to actually do any protection whatsoever. But then I remembered Blessed Ira has his prayer, and he got it through Tabash. And it's so beautiful and so helpful. So what is it that we can do so that we don't get this sort of psychic attack as such? Because we had been to the Mind Body Spirit Festival, we'd held the most beautiful evening of mediumship and clairvoyancy and hypnoregression, and the last thing we were expecting was something like that. What was it that we didn't do that we should have done?
Prepare your energy field.
Okay.
So please notice, we're not talking about protection. We're talking about preparing your energy field.
Could you explain that in a bit more detail?
We
I think
can.
there are lots of people that need to know.
We can. Protection brings fear, Jill. When humans say we didn't protect ourselves, we are not protected, it brings a lower vibrational, fear-based charge.
And this is when I want to interrupt you, because this is why I actually have never done anything, because my mind has been, if you work for the light, you'll automatically be okay. And then somebody told me I was being very naive and that I had to protect myself.
Another millionth belief system, Jill.
So I'm enjoying you guys. Thank you. So,
we are enjoying you.
Please continue.
We will come back to this, and we feel it is an important time right now to say to you that there are many different humans who are displaying and speaking vehemently about what the light means and the way you should be as a light human. Please know that these are what we would call, or you would call, charlatans. These are not humans of the light. When one is telling you how to be, telling you what to eat, how is that of the light? Are we telling you, or are we sharing with you?
Sharing, definitely.
We would like to think so and believe so, yet we do not have beliefs. We do not have thought forms from how and where we are at. So what we say to you is that, and we would like to share this, as Michelle almost burst out laughing with one of her clients when one of her clients was sharing with her that she was told by another human being who is sharing her work and whatever that work is, that she is not allowed, Michelle's client at the time, was not allowed, please notice how we say this, not allowed to eat meat. As if she eats meat, she is not going to ascend. She is not going to be enlightened. Can you feel how the energy drops as soon as we even suggest this or say this? This is not a time for any judgment on any one way of eating. Please know this. Every soul, every soul is a cell, and every cell is an atom, and every atom is a light, and every way that these lights are knowing, they know their body before they even come into this very real existence of being human. Yet humans have created these belief systems around do not, 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 do not. Do not do this, do not eat that, do not that. Well, who says?
Well, that's why you've just got to own yourself again, back to joy.
Correct.
And as our friend Laura Weaver says, stay in your lane.
Well, we have said it before. Keep your nose out of other people's businesses. Hence, it is similar, yet it is different in the way Laura has said it. 100%. So to go back to how you set up the energy prior, as you are all connecting, as soon as you decided you were going to be in that expo, Jill, you were already connecting into that field. Are you aware of that?
No, I hadn't given it a thought.
We know.
All right.
So what we say to you is, as soon as the energy, the moment of the thoughts, of the words, of the creation is happening, as soon as Michelle and you are deciding to reconnect in terms of an event of creating together, that energy is already recreating, is already in existence, is already happening. Then the doing happens as a human. You book the tickets, you look at the dates, you find the event, you find the space. Yet it has already been created. So your energy, Michelle's energy, is already in Queenstown. Her energy is already connected to us. We're already connecting. As soon as you got the message, and you both got the message at the same time, as she was going to connect with you today and say, are we ready? Are we going to do this today? And you received it. The antennas were out, were they not?
Yes.
So it is as the happening of the thought in the moment. One says to oneself, I am of God, I am of God, and we send God out. We send source. The sending is already happening. God exists in every single thing, in every single cell, in every single moment, in every single time. Hence, there is no time, Jill.
But then doesn't God also abide in those other entities as such, the one that came and gave the psychic
Correct.
attack?
Correct.
Just the same?
Yes, everything is of the light. Everything. And as you can hear Michelle's son, who is super excited behind in his room, that is, he's playing, he's super excited. Everything is of the light. We could say, how dare Michelle be, or her son, how dare he be shouting and being excited, and how dare he come through when we are coming through right now. Yet here is a dog that is showing up right now. It is all of the light. Yet when the shift happens, when the energy shifts and transforms, it is as if it becomes discombobulated in the ethers, and it shifts into a different dimension, Jill.
Okay, so it
And
just
it takes on a different form.
Okay, so it depends how much light you hold at any given moment. So now my mind is thinking, if there were not as many nerves to go there, or apprehension, or what about this and what about that, and kept it and had more faith that everything's going to be absolutely brilliant, the right people are going to come. So when those little bits of doubt appear, you have a dip in the energy, and that's when the attachments or the entities can come
Correct.
from.
You pulled it in as much as, yes, you pulled it in as much as Michelle pulled it in.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
just attached itself to Michelle.
yeah.
And Michelle could feel her body as soon as this was suggested to her at the time. And at the time of the human that suggested this certain entity, which we won't mention, we have already mentioned them, and we would say to you there was an uneasy feeling in Michelle's body. And then she spoke to another human being who was in the show, and this other human being had spoken of an experience and mentioned the same entity. the same energy of this entity who has a specific commander, who has a specific resonance in the field. And they are soldiers, Jill. What does a soldier do? They fight, correct. They march on. So you had stepped out of your brilliance. You had stepped out of your shining for a moment in time, quicker than we can flick or click Michelle's fingers. You know the saying, faster than the speed of light. When a Mach 3 jet leaves, you see it leave, and then you hear, and then you feel, do you not? The reverberance of the energy behind it. This is how it happens, Jill.
Very good. I really appreciate that. Thank you.
We
So,
thank
is there anything else you would like to end off with just before we finish today?
We would like to end off by saying to everyone who is listening to this, please share these transmissions. We really do want these to be heard, as they are creating understandings, as humans are seeking to understand. They are creating harmony. They are creating humans who are not too sure whether they are seeing things, sensing things, feeling things in the illusion of what is. And then they have a moment where they go, "Ah, we are not mad, we are not crazy." So please share these transmissions, as we would like to have the connection be reconnected into the field of all, of oneness. The reconnection, the grids are becoming stronger. And as the grids are becoming stronger, many of you are grinding, gritting, holding down, not too sure. Yet energy is energy. We have said this before, that Gaia knows what is coming. Gaia knows what is happening. Be present in your presence with one another. Put your phones down. Take time to spend with loved ones. Take time to tell one another that you love one another. And be genuine and authentic in those moments. This is how we would like to end off, with a moment of love. Love conquers all, Jill.
Thank you. I think
When the towers were coming down, when 9/11 happened, there's a shift in consciousness that happened. Everyone only wanted to tell everyone how much they loved one another.
Well, let's hope that we don't need a cataclysm or a tragedy before we actually tell people that we love them.
This is the truth, the way, and the light, Jill. There is only this moving forward. There is only this in time. There is only the way, the truth, and the light. We thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you so much. And with that, Michelle, I'm going to count from 1 to 3. And when we reach 3, you're going to be wide awake and back in your room. That's it. 1, starting to move around. And 2, opening up those big, beautiful brown Bambi eyes. And 3, welcome back and welcome back.
Oh, I just saw this butterfly. That's beautiful. I just saw these butterfly wings. And remember, there's that, is it a science-based thing or a, oh my God, you look so pretty. So brilliant,
Another session.
angelic. Would it help if I say you look so young? I'm back.
Yeah,
Um,
you're
but
definitely
you know
back.
that sliver of a wing, Julie, the butterfly's wing.
Yes.
And you know how that shifts vibration.
Well, they
So,
even say the slither of a fly's wing will just change a timeline.
wow,
So
that's
a
an,